thank you. And this evening, I'll provide a few updates. We are changing the format a little bit. Instead of a running narrative of all the great things that are happening in each of our schools, we're going to attempt to do 3 pictures. So each school has 3 pictures, and we'll talk about some of the great things that happened in the past 4 days. Has it been 4 days?
A whole day.
Feels so long.
4 days. So we
Start with Lincoln Street School. We had a very exciting and enthusiastic return to school. In the first 3 days, one activity that we did with our staff is that we had a quick rock, paper, scissors competition. In the end, Ratu Jane won, and she beat Mr. Carey, and there was a lot of applause happening there. So that was a great way to kick off some joy together. The middle picture is just cafeteria orientation. The kids were very excited about their seats. These happen to be our newest kiddos, our kindergarten kids, and the variety of lunch options was a true excitement. They were in line for about 25 out of the 30 minutes, but it was a lot of, the fresh cut strawberries was really a big hit. And then lastly, we have our Pat the Polar Bear greeting the kids off the school bus that very first day. It was just a nice welcoming opportunity to, create and show what Lincoln Street is all about. So it's been a great start.
So at Peaslee, there's a million things to get ready for the start of the year. So I had these pictures on my camera roll. So this one speaks to the custodial staff and the summer help, which we do have 2 students who I'm almost positive are Algonquin students. I think they might be juniors. They might even be seniors, but so a ton of details all around, from administrative staff to, the cafeteria and teachers. Just a lot goes into welcoming students back. We had welcomed our newest kindergartners along with everybody else in Northborough, as well as reconnected with some of our students who have been with us over the years. We did offer a new student tour for families. We have about 8 new students at Peaslee School. Then the other one is just, we began learning using the Eureka Squared math program. So just exploring different ways to learn. And here is a component of the program where students have daily fluency practice. The routines are similar over the year, but the numbers change. And a lot goes into the setting up of a routine like that, because students really are rethinking numbers and how they are come together and how they're taken apart. So really a little bit out of the box, and having students practice that the first couple of days has been really helpful.
Okay, moving on to Proctor School. It was very challenging to pick just 3 photos, but we got there. So I figured these 3 photos sort of underscore some of the changes or the new additions to Proctor, as well as some of the foundation that we're building on in terms of our building a community of care. So the first photo on the left is of Mrs. Fury's 3rd grade class during morning community building circles. That is a focus of our school and our district. Last year at Proctor, we had 5 staff members that were trained in restorative justice through the Suffolk Law program. And while Mrs. Fury was not one of them, we are doing a lot of train the trainer and doing some of that modeling. So many of our teachers are able to do those community building circles. The circles in general, we know, are just very powerful opportunities where we can listen from the heart and speak from the heart. So it's just a really nice way to have students come to the building in the morning. The second picture is of our lower wing playground. Those are our new kindergartners at recess. Just as we graduated a bubble class of 5th graders last school year, we welcomed a kindergarten bubble class. And so we have 3 sections, and this is them playing very well on the playground. And in fact, in the back, you may be kind of challenging to see, but there is a new structure. It's a spinny structure, and the kids are having so much fun with it. So thanks to the PTO for our new spinny structure. And we also had some playground repairs on that lower wing. And in addition to welcoming the bubble class, we actually over the summer had over 30 new enrollments between kindergarten and 5th grade. And then the last picture is of Mrs. Hennigan and McCabe. That's Mrs. McCabe. It's a job share. Their 1st grade class co-creating class agreements, which just coincides with the work that we're doing to create that foundation of caring communities. And that's through 2nd step and making sure that students have agency and voice in their learning experience each day.
All right, the Z School. On the left, all of our teachers, all of our classrooms, they do a lot in their classrooms those first couple of days, just building the community through lots of different fun activities. This was some cup stacking that our 4th graders were doing, and they had to work together. There were different challenges. Like one of them was each person can only use one finger. There was one where they could use pencils and things like that. So they had a lot of fun doing that, but just getting to know the kids in their class and building that trust with each other. The second picture is Detective Sullivan and Marshall. They came to visit, and we do throughout the year, we do a lot of collaboration with the fire department, the police department, and our other community organizations. They help keep our school safe, but the highlight is always when Marshall comes to visit, and he shuts the school down. As he walks down the hallway, kids that are supposed to be doing other things, they all stop and see Marshall, but it's such a neat part of our community that we have that relationship with our community organizations. And in the last picture there is just a picture from the first day of school. It's always fun to see the kids in their shoes and their dresses and cute outfits on the first day, but the smiles also. And there were lots of smiles that first day, and our job is to keep that throughout the whole year. So we're looking forward to another great year.
Well, I decided to share 4 photos instead, but I noticed Mary had 6, actually, 2 in her box. So anyway, I will apologize for the 4, but it is hard to pick photos because there's so much going on, and so I was like, I have to have some way to organize them. So I organized them around the district strategic initiatives, which drive our school improvement plan. So I decided to share something that connected to each. So in the left upper quadrant, that's empowering learners, and the picture is of 6th graders on their Chromebooks and completing the Introduction to Mathia, which is part of our Carnegie math program. And so the goal is around implementing high-quality instructional materials. And what was amazing to me was this was today, the 4th day of school, and our 6th graders are already logging into PowerSchool to get schedules and things. They have gotten into Canvas to find assignments and class tiles, and part of that today in 6th grade math was getting into Mathia and doing the introduction. So to me, it shows a lot. It's not just about the curriculum, but how well they're adapting and really digging in and learning. The bottom left is equity of opportunity, and this is 8th graders engaging in Module 1 of EL curriculum. So Summer of the Mariposas is Latin American folklore, and our 8th graders started it this week, and the kids were excited to have a book in their hands, and last year was our first time implementing, and this book was really popular, so it was neat to see the kids excited and really digging in. Up in the upper right, healthy and balanced learners. So some of this is around making connections with students and kids connecting with each other. And so this is 7th grade, and during lunch, some of our 7th graders played chess, and they started this last year, and it was neat to see on day 1, they had out the chess boards, and they had invited some new kids to play with them. So that was pretty neat. And then finally, the bottom right, educator learning and leadership. This is Mariana Narain and Nicole DeAngelis, our administrative assistants at our 6th grade orientation, and they're holding a banner that they created on the poster and banner printer that the PTO donated, and it says, "Welcome, Milliken Middle School." And to me, this picture is important because Mariana said this is her first opening because she started in December of last year, and she said, I got teary just seeing all the 6th graders come in, and to me it was just an example of all educators, including administrative assistants and everybody, just making those meaningful connections with students, but also empowering them to be a big part of what we do.
It's incredible. Thank you all. Any thoughts? Questions?
I also have a thing about Marshall. I think Marshall's having a birthday party tomorrow.
No
Yes,
way.
he is.
Yeah,
5 to 7.
yeah,
No cupcakes.
5 to 7.
There's pizza, it says.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, he's having a birthday party at Memorial Field in back of the police station
That's hilarious.
tomorrow. Yeah, so I just thought it was funny. And yeah, I mean, that poster banner, I mean, God, you got such a lucky PTO.
The chair's pretty great.
Yeah.
Somebody pat her on the back. Joan?
I'll let Lauren go first.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I love this format. I think it really helps visualize what's happening in the schools. There was a lot of detail from the way you gave your previous report. And I think when I heard the number 3, I was like, ooh, that's not a lot. But just because, like, oh, I want to hear 10 or 12 details from each school. But I think it really gave a great picture. And I think it was, well received on our end. Hopefully not as winded on your end. And you have to choose the 3 pictures, right?
Or 4.
Or 4.
Or 6. 6, Mary.
I only spoke about 3 things.
So thank you so much. And it looks like, it looks like everyone's in the routines. And I like what you said, Principal Bell, about, you see these kids come in the first day with their smiles, and our job is to keep those smiles, hopefully, on their faces throughout the year. So thanks for sharing that.
Joan?
When I was looking at all the slides and thinking you're going to do it by pictures, when it came to the conclusion, it was so evident that you hit on all different aspects of what our district is, starting with Lincoln, with the cafeteria, with the food services, and the delicious strawberries. The kids come in hungry, they have their breakfast, and then the lunch. That's a very important part of the day. Paisley, I talked about the curriculum. I saw the fluency practice. Thank you. Proctor, you talked about the PTO. Another component with the spinny structures that they provided through the money and the hard work that they do, and the parents. Z School, you brought in about the community, having the detective in there. And we all know from the news how important that is to have that relationship. And even when the kids are out of school, that relationship when they see that person for the rest of their years. And then to Melican, when you brought it all together, when you did the district's strategic initiatives, which wraps it all up together. So I'd like to thank you because it brought everything together along with administration, what you do. Thank you for what you did. You're giving another evening to us. I'm glad that you had a great first week of school, and please thank all the teachers and the staff, because even this building looks absolutely beautiful. A lot of hard work went into it, and even from the extended summer program. Thank everybody who did it. Thank you so much.
So for future meetings, are they all coming or just sending in a photo, or is this just tonight's meeting?
They're coming every month now.
Was like-
No, they're going to create a slideshow.
Okay, and
principal
one
will
person
share.
will present it, okay, great, yeah,
So we'll have as much detail, just not as many people.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Which I think
picture
they'll
is worth.
appreciate.
1,000 words, it's 1,000 words right there, so there's 3,000 words we're getting.
There you
Just
go.
one.
Yeah. Well, 6, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kristen?
I don't think I can say anything more that Joan did say. Just a huge thank you. I know I have kids in K through 8 all the way up, and they're all doing well, and strawberries were a big hit. About that. I heard about the Caesar salad too. My child who would not touch a salad came home going, I had Caesar salad today, and then she's been eating it every day. I was like, win, okay.
Yeah.
But they've all been having a great time. So you guys do an awesome job.
Yeah, I'll echo what everybody said, and I just was reflecting a little bit on some of the things we mentioned at the end of the year's meeting, and just thinking of the momentum that you guys, even though the fatigue was there, you had the momentum through the end of the year, but this is where you really are pushing, to build that momentum, and just the amount of community building effort, I think, is incredible to set those standards early and get people together and allow them to create those together, I think is really impactful. I know my oldest daughter has mentioned the ability to kind of co-create in a classroom the set of standards that everybody's going to adhere to, and that she thought that process was really interesting. Food definitely has been on the top, but also Eureka Math for the win in the first 4 days. So that's great. So yeah, Thank you all very much. One comment, this is mostly just to the middle school because it only really applies, but I had an 8th grader let me know that in their minds, the wait for the lines to give their phones and the wait for the lines to get their phones back is an obstacle they are struggling with.
It goes,
Interesting struggle.
it goes better towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first week is usually, I'm just speaking from experience, like.
Is it just for, I mean, he's an 8th grader. I don't mean to out him.
No, I don't know if he was there last year or not,
Yeah.
but usually the beginning, it's like kind of long, but once people start coming at different times and it lessens in the morning, because it's not
That's
as
it.
like
That's
everybody,
like
but if it's a
all
bus.
these great compliments, then he was like, I waited in line too long to get you.
Yeah, it's, at least for my kids, that's how it all
You
depends
should
on.
try
like-
a parent pickup at Paisley.
Yeah.
I told him to leave, I told him to leave the phone at home.
Yeah, skip the line altogether, yeah. I know at least my kids, like, it goes better as
Yeah.
time goes on, but
It
I
was
don't.
faster today than it was the
Like
last
anything.
3 days, so
There you go.
we're getting there.
All right.
Yeah.
When I check in with him again, I'll be sure.
Yeah.
Give us a little time.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Give us 2
Yeah.
weeks,
Yeah.
guys, we'll get there.
At least he wasn't questioning the policy.
No, he is in full support, actually. Like, he was just
Yeah.
like, I just don't want to, he's an 8th grader.
Leave it at home.
Yeah, I know. Sign the waiver, don't take it.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have an award to give out.
Yes, so we learned that our very own Joan Frank was nominated to receive the MASC Lifetime Achievement 2025 Award. So Joan, your colleagues, your school committee colleagues nominated you to be considered for this award. And on August 15th, Joan quickly called me when she opened the letter and said, what is this?
Yeah, what
And I was
is
like,
this?
what do you mean, what is what? And she said, you must have nominated me. And I said, no, your peers, your colleagues did, which I think should mean a lot. So I have the letter that Joan received, and I also received a copy. And it says, Dear Ms. Frank, on behalf of the MASC Board of Directors, I am writing to let you know that you have been selected to receive MASC's Lifetime Achievement 2025 Award. This honor recognizes your contributions to the children of the Northborough Public Schools, both through your years of service as a school committee member, as well as through the many activities in which you have participated as an advocate for children. So Joan will be recognized at the MASC conference at an awards dinner, which is taking place on Friday evening, November 14th. And hopefully many of us will be able to join you in seeing you receive this recognition, but well-deserved, and thank you.
Can I say a few words? I promise, no more than 5. It was funny because when I came home and I got the mail, usually the envelopes that we get from MASC are printed and they just go, Joan Frank, Northborough School Committee, and I looked at it and it's hand printed. And it's Joan Gala Frank, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Right away, what did I do? And I'm thinking like, okay, the last executive session we had was in June. I think it went okay. I think we did all right. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting this summons to something that happened. And when I opened the letter and I read it once and it didn't even register. And the second time it registered. And I was just so touched. I was very touched. I think I did call Greg right away because I was going to be embarrassed if he had nominated me. And him being my former principal and somebody who I've always admired in the field of education. And because I think that it's an award that goes to everybody. And then I was just more touched when Kelly sent me a text, and she was the first one. I went like, she congratulated me. And I said, okay. And I said, did you nominate me? And when she said that it was the whole committee, that even touched me more, knowing that my peers think that highly of what I've been doing. So I would like to express my gratitude to Bryce, to Lauren, to Kelly, and to Kristen for everything that they have done. Because besides me being in education for over 30 years, they are also in education. We go from Bryce, who was a director of food services in a school district, Lauren, who is a current teacher in the Hopkinton Middle School, Kelly, who is a preschool teacher. She doesn't give herself away. And Kristen, who works at the college level. And so besides me wanting to give back to the community, I can see that we all share that same vision. We all want to enhance the educational outcomes, and we want to foster an inclusive environment where every student thrives. And that was always like my mantra when I first was running for election. And it's funny because when we look to see how much this district has grown, when I was first running for election in 1993, some gentleman approached me and said, could you put in one of the things that you would try to strive for if you become a school committee member is to have a basketball team at the middle school. There were no extracurricular sports at that time. And now you think of it, Michelle, how many sports do you have there?
Too many to count.
That's the right answer.
And I mean, and that was a big thing. I mean, I thought, oh, gee, here I'm going to be spending more money. I'm supposed to say we're not spending more money, and it has grown. And it's from the people that have sat here before me and that are going to sit here even after me. I like to say that, I think I've achieved 2 goals since my childhood. I told this to Greg. My second grade teacher, ages 7, said, go be a teacher, to all of us, go be a teacher. So that was another goal. And then when I was 10 years old, John F. Kennedy asked us to give back to our country. And I knew that the only way I could give back to my country was going to be through education. And had a wild dream one night and said, I think I can give back by being on school committee, and how do you do it? And I have enjoyed every single moment of it. I love education. I try to reach out to so many people that I want, and I still want to learn and to be the best educator that I can be. And I'd like to thank everybody that is here tonight, from all the principals, from the administration, and especially to my peers. I don't think I'm my peers because I'm the oldest here, so they're a lot younger than me. But I would like to thank them for thinking so highly of me to give me that honor. And in conclusion, I'd like to thank my husband who's here tonight, Bob Frank. To show you how far we've come since 1993, first election, he had to figure out how to get my signs up. Because in those days, we didn't have the wires, we had 2x4s. And we had to hit 2x4s, put 2 signs on either side, and the worst part, we had to put our pictures on the signs. And I mean, it was like, and that was mandatory, an uncommon, an unstated law in goal that you had to have your picture on it. So every time I went down the street, oh my gosh, there's my picture. So I'm glad that we have now gone to the wires, and it's a lot easier. So think of a 2x4 in the rocky soil here of Northborough trying to get it in. And then the last thing I'd like to thank Bob is that when Kelly was chair, she had the great idea that we should all go to the back to school nights. And so I went to the back to school night at John Bell's school. It was his first year. So I convinced my husband and said, oh, we're going to go on a date night tonight. Little did he know that before I took him out to dinner to the cellar, that he was going to go to an elementary school and just see all the parents come in. And believe it or not, after that John Bell, I was touched by all the kids and the enthusiasm they came in. The nurse who came out and was talking to all the kids. And I have to tell you, when we went to dinner that night, all we talked about was my husband's perspective on education, seeing it for the first time after so many years, not being a parent, but being an observer. So what I observed, John Bell, at your school is I'm sure that everybody observes. So I'd like to thank you all because everybody here has enriched my life, probably my husband's in a way, I can say that, and especially my children. So thank you. I am touched, and I hope I can live up to your high standards, but thank you.
That we have no doubt, Joan.
No.
I just want to say, it's been a wonderful group that you have here, and when I've gone into the schools, it has knocked my socks off across the board. You have a terrific school system, Algonquin's terrific, and we're, as a resident
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for lending us your wife for all these years. We appreciate it.
He knows where I am on Wednesday nights.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. 2025-26 school opening updates.
Yes, so just want to first begin by thanking the central office leadership team for all of its hard work over the past several months. The work does not slow down over the summer for the team. And this evening, we have a few updates from Selvi about our multilingual program, and Helene about our extended school year program, and then Keith will wrap it up with a transportation update, a facilities update, and then a capital plan projects update.
Play this name tag game.
Your name tags are
It's right there.
Oh, there.
Well, you can sit wherever, but you just want to grab it.
If you
Here you go.
well done.
Got it done.
Just turn your name tag around.
Oh.
Almost got it.
All right, want to do ESY first? That's what's on the agenda. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I will go through a similar update to last year, talk about what we did at ESY this year. So again, we welcome kids age 3 all the way through age 22 to Algonquin for our extended summer school program. Just want to thank everyone who contributed in a lot of different ways. First, the student support team members, Kate Clark, Deb Lemieux, and Jen Henry. Central office team members, everyone from human resources, finance, transportation, facilities, technology, health and wellness. And we want to thank Principal Bevan for welcoming us back to Algonquin. This is our 4th year having the program at Algonquin. I especially want to thank Mike Gorman. He leads the facilities team over at Algonquin. He has a large task of preparing the building for teachers in September while also helping us with all of our needs in the summer. And we work really well together to get all of those things accomplished, which is great. Michelle Moody was our site coordinator this year. Michelle is the Southborough team chair. This was her first year in this role. And she seamlessly took it on and was able to support families and teachers and staff in the building from day to day and support the needs that everyone had throughout those days. So being at Algonquin, as I said, for our 4th summer, really just continues to help us be efficient in our service delivery, in our financing of this program. We are able to utilize resources really effectively by having everyone in the same building. So we look forward to continuing that in the future. In terms of who attended, we had 180 students attend this summer. Last year we had 182, so we were very close in numbers, and all of the numbers I'm about to give you are very close to what they were last year. So we had our site coordinator, teachers, SLPs, OTs, we had 20 internal staff and 7 external, which is great. And 4 of those external hires are people who just return to us every summer. So we have a couple of speech language pathologists and occupational therapists who return to us every summer, which is really great. The nursing staff, the majority of the program was covered by nurses that we work with all through the school year. We did have 2 weeks that were covered by an external hire. But again, it was seamless. She did a really nice job with such a big building. And then in terms of our educational support professionals, we had 50 internal hires and 25 were external candidates. As usual, some of our external hires for ESY are people who return to us from year to year. They work in other districts during the school year, and they come to our district for the summer. So 13 of those 25 were people who come back each summer. And then we had several of those people who worked for us in the summer be hired into positions in our schools this year. So that happens from year to year, which is really great because they get to know the kids and really understand the kids before they apply for a school year position, which is great for them to have some knowledge and experience coming into the district. And then
We do have an ESY parent survey, and that will be going out to parents in the next few days. We did have, oh, I did want to mention this, we did have a Touch a Truck event in the summer where the Northborough Police and Fire and DPW came and brought several trucks over to the high school, and we did that with all of our students. Everyone who wanted to go out and touch the trucks and climb and sit in them were able to do that. Officer Sullivan visited several times with his dog, and we also had several of our therapy dogs and support dogs come in. Michelle brought one of her dogs in during the summer, so over different weeks we had different folks in doing that as well.
Thank you, John.
Why was that distracting?
Not at all.
No,
I think it's the other remote.
you made that. There you
Oh,
go.
there
Thanks,
you go.
John.
There we go. Thank you.
I love the touch a truck thing.
Yeah.
I love that. At the preschool, we have usually the fire and the police, but I never even thought to reach out to the DPW. Like, because kids love, I mean, the dump trucks are like huge on the same thing and stuff like that, so it's a really fun idea. I bet the kids all enjoyed that and stuff.
And are we thinking the high school will remain a viable location, site location for?
I do. I really do. I mean, Helene and I have had a lot of conversations about it, and it checks a lot of boxes for us collectively. So I do see that as being the place we're going to be for the, for the foreseeable future.
No transportation challenges for any families getting there and?
They were not global the way they were the summer before.
Okay.
We had a couple of challenges that came up in the day-to-day when if the van company has drivers who call in sick, they combine routes and things like that. So that caused for a couple of our kiddos arriving late. But for the majority of the summer, it was pretty positive transportation-wise. Yeah.
Joan?
I have two questions. You mentioned that the extended school year, the program goes from age 3 to the 22-year-old. What type of activities or curriculum do you supply for the 22-year-olds? Is it more of home things that they could do, safety for themselves, that type of thing? What do you do?
So it's our CAP program that exists at the high school during the school year. So it's our kids who are 18 to 22 who need further education in their post-grad year. So the program mirrors what happens during the school year, where they go out to the community, they have different job sites, they do volunteer work as well as the targets in their goals and objectives for their IEPs. So we have some students who actually come over to central office and they work with Becky and the finance team. We have students who have worked and work with like the Northborough Police Department, the fire department. They go to the Special Olympics office, and we have a variety of jobs that kids do.
Do they ever go out to any of the shopping centers, like Market Basket, and they work there?
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't know specifically that we have used them as a job site, but they do go to Target and Stop and Shop and different restaurants and things to work on like ordering and purchasing and some cooking then in the building. So they do that type of shopping experience there, but I don't believe we have any students working in that capacity right now.
Okay. And my last question is on that survey, is it going out to the parents, or would it also go to some of the older students to see what they would like to maybe have enhanced or what they would like to see better?
It typically goes to the parents, but we could definitely consider doing that with our older students.
I think it would be
get
good
their
to see their
feedback.
perspective, because even on the MCAS testing, I think they have a section where the students do like a survey, so.
Yep.
And
I
Greg-
was just going to say, I probably would shift it a little bit because a lot of what is on the survey for the parents is very much driven by IEP process and things like that, and transportation needs and response to any concerns they have. What I actually might consider thinking ahead to next summer is maybe doing a survey on the last couple days of school with the kids about things they enjoyed, things they would like to see, because then we could do it for the entire age group, because we
Right.
could craft it differently for each group.
Right, I wouldn't want to give you more work and create another survey this time, but I think that would be a great idea to do with the last days of it to get their input. And Greg, if there would be a way, could we get some of the results of the survey, so we could just see if it would just be an overview from the parents, how they think it is going and everything?
We could share some summary data.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Do the free lunches from the school year extend into the summer as well?
So they don't. We actually talked about this in June. They do not extend into the summer. We do work with Mary Ellen around any needs that we might have in that way, but no, we do request that kids bring lunch because we don't have lunch served at all in the summer.
And is that mostly because there's lack of grant funding, or it would be too complicated to try to hire staff to cook the food in the summer, or a little bit of both? I know Bryce might have something to add too.
Well, I was going to point to Keith, but Keith, go ahead.
So being a summer site is a total different set of qualifications and requirements, administratively and then all the way down. So it would be, it becomes a full system. It's not just opening one kitchen for the purpose of that. It would be involving a lot of different departments. So when it is for 170, 80 students, we've got to balance what that would be, and but I'm not saying we could consider it down the road, because with Whitson's now we have added to that capacity, so we have had very preliminary conversations with them about it, but they have echoed the same thing about the size of the operation.
Would and I know no information, but I do know that there are some area schools that offer summer lunches to families of that district. Like, come pick it up, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. So maybe that would be sort of a way to increase numbers. I know there's a lot of logistics. It sounds like there's a lot, but I'm just sort of throwing things out there to give some of our families options in the summer.
I think that's great. I think hopefully with the new folks that we've got on board, maybe they'd be good collaborators on that, because I do think listening to 180 kids, anyways. It's a good idea.
But Helene, thank you so much for all your work. It's so important that all of our students, but especially students with IEPs, continue their work in the summer. So thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
I have a question, it's not really.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Just because you're here, Titan Games?
Yes.
Is it coming?
October 3rd.
Nice.
Yes, it is
Say
coming.
Titan Games?
Yeah.
The Titan Games, yeah, because they shifted it from the spring to the fall, so they didn't have it last spring, so
Correct.
it's going, so.
Yes, it is. Our special education teachers are reaching out to families currently around invitations for the Titan Games, and that is ready to go. We have the T-shirts and everything. And so October 3rd at the high school.
Friday.
Cheryl send out a calendar.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you know the time by any chance? You don't need to.
Literally all day long.
It's usually all day. I
It's
think
like,
I think it is like a
arrive.
9 to 5.
It's
Like
like,
it's,
Yeah.
the kids get
It's
there
probably
by
closer
9 or
to 10.
Yeah, last year I had it 10 to 1.
1 to
Is
1.
Okay,
was
Yeah.
basically what I had last year,
thank you.
or 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, and good evening. It's a pleasure to be here again and to see you, and congratulations, Joan.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So this summer, we welcomed a new member to our team. Our administrative assistant, Rosa Populus, has stepped into the role that was previously held by Deb Young. Rosa has already done a fabulous job supporting our students, families, staff, while also coordinating the interpretation and translation services across the district. We're excited to welcome her to our team. One of the biggest highlights of our summer is, of course, our Multilingual Learners Summer Enrichment Program, which is funded through our Title III grant. This year, the program served about 72 students in grades 1 through 12, and about 46 of them were from Northborough. We were fortunate enough to have 8 teachers two ESPs. One of them is a current student actually at Algonquin, and one an alum of Algonquin, both multilingual students formerly. And our director was Lonnie, and we had two nurses making our program a success. Before sharing some additional details, I want to extend my sincere thanks to Principal Stacy and her wonderful team for welcoming us. It's really a pleasure to walk into her impeccable facility. Pam and Mike do an amazing job making sure that everything is ready before we enter, and we always feel very welcomed and warm at Proctor. That has become our second home over the summer. And Keith and Sheila, they really have put together a wonderful route plan for our two buses that serve our students and make sure that they come into our schools, and it just went very smoothly. This summer's theme was sustainability. So our students engaged in hands-on activities about energy, engineering, agriculture, habitats, and invasive species. They worked on strengthening their content knowledge, academic language, as well as building other skills like working in groups, collaborating, and becoming critical thinkers through reflecting and journal writing every day. So middle and high school students also visited Clark University, while all students had opportunities to learn from guest speakers. So one of our guest speakers was from the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, and she talked about invasive species. And our other group of guest speakers were from Amazon. Amazon volunteers came in to talk about their sustainability initiatives right here in our town. And the students received both presenters very well. They had wonderful questions, and it was very engaging. We concluded our program with an exciting and interactive learning stations where students were teamed up across grade levels and worked as a mixed team, and they rotated through different activities. Such as long walk to water and the recycled sculpture building challenge. And we celebrated their work and showcased all the projects at the end. We also had a family survey at the end. Part of the family survey included a question towards their student to recall what they enjoyed most about the program, and we received very positive feedback from them, and that they have enjoyed it and already looking forward to next summer. And as we begin this school year, our ELD teachers across all districts have been engaged in our identification process, which entails looking at the records of our incoming students, screenings, and family conversations. Looking ahead, our department will continue to focus on curriculum and instruction, as well as growing our interdepartmental collaboration across all of the academic content areas. We also continue to support and partner with our families, and are also excited for our annual ALPAC events and community gatherings. At this time, I would love to take this opportunity to invite you to our first ALPAC meeting, which will take place on October 16th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Algonquin. And thank you for all you do and for your continued support.
Thank you. Joan?
I have two things I'd like if you could highlight a little more. You mentioned that you had two Algonquin Regional High School students.
Yes.
I was going there too.
Okay, he had it. Wait until he asks it.
Oh, good.
If you could just talk a little more about that. And also, you mentioned that you took some students to Clark University, or and what occurred there?
So it's like, let me go back to the ESPs. Our students worked as our support staff, and they were involved in classroom supporting the activities. And both being bilingual, they were able to communicate in their first languages to our students who are in the early language proficiency levels. And they have been wonderful assets, both in making connections to the students and supporting the work that goes on throughout the day.
That's
in the
wonderful. Do
classroom.
they receive any credit for that, or do you write a letter of recommendation
It's-
that will
it's a-
help them if they, whatever field they want to go into or profession?
It's a compensated summer job.
Oh, it is?
Yes, yes.
Right. Do they ever have a chance to come back and to, intermingle with those kids again, or is it just a one thing in the summertime?
One of our ESPs is now actually an ESP at Algonquin, and our other student is going into her senior year at Algonquin. So, of course, they're always welcome to come. They also have been volunteering at our Outback events and our other family events like the Culture Night and the International Night. So they have those opportunities, and they're always welcome. I love to create more opportunities for them to come back and see their students, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's just a wonderful connection when you have intergrades and doing that. And these, the lower grades look up to these kids in high school, and they're their inspiration.
Absolutely.
And what about Clark University?
So it is a structured visit. They start with a campus tour. They learn about the programs and they get to ask questions. Usually in the past we had visitations to different buildings, including dorms, which is always so exciting for our students. I'm not sure if this year they got a chance to visit the dorms, but I will definitely double check on that.
Okay.
And for most of our students, I don't want to make any assumptions, but it's the first time experience stepping on the grounds of a college, higher education campus, and it's something they carry with them.
Wow. It's a wonderful campus, too.
It is.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Kelly?
I love previous years that they've showed photos of your summer camp and things, summer camp, and I'm always like, why can't my kids speak like a different primary language so they could go to? Because it just looks like so much fun, which is exciting. That's what you want for kids to have in the summertime. How many languages were covered over
In the summer program?
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I know we've got like what are we at, like 50, 200, something? We have like so many different languages on our day. I'm just curious, like
I don't have the
roughly.
official number. That's a good
Yeah, I'm
question,
just
but
curious
if I
how
had to
many
guess,
covered.
I would say 10
Okay.
plus. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I had the same two questions, so they both got answered. I think the student one is really interesting. I think peeling back the layers there and wondering a little bit more about it's great that it's compensated. I'm really happy that it actually is. I prefer that to be the case. But the idea that students returning, even post-grad or just returning to the school to then be in the school all summer, when you would think I don't know, that was a different experience maybe for me in the summertime in high school. But I just think that's so awesome. I just think that speaks volumes. So anyways, between that and the amount of languages you're working with, it's incredible work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Selby.
Thank
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Have a good school year.
Now for the real exciting
Oh, it gets better.
transportation.
Oh. You're losing our audience.
Yes, I know, they're all.
They call him captivating Keith.
same time now.
Tomorrow.
Thank you all. Thank you.
So, for a transportation update, we are entering the first year of our new contract with NRT, and we are really off to a great start. We have all of our buses with permanent drivers and a nice cadre of substitutes, which we have had to utilize in the first couple of days due to some unexpected absences, but it hasn't interrupted service like it had previously, so that is a very good sign. The second thing I wanted to mention is that for 25-26, we didn't do any radical changes with our routes. A lot of what families experienced last year is what they're experiencing this year with some minor adjustments here and there, which just makes it more consistent and more reliable. So that's also a good sign. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that NRT introduced a new parent tracking app, Beacon Connect. It is the first time, anytime you roll out a new application, there are going to be some blips, and there have been. But their response team is far improved over prior app experience that we have had, and we've been engaging with parents and that support team to really help dial it in for families. And I was having a couple of bad days for the first couple, but we're off to, we've turned the corner today with them kind of realizing what some of the issues are, and they're being able to remedy those. So I do encourage families that they do email which was included in the instructions if they are having issues, because we do not manage it at the district level. It is entirely on the bus company to support. So
no more, where's my kid?
and no more where's my kid, Kelly. Although we do have a couple people asking where it went.
Where's my kid, yeah.
Where's my kid? He left. No, but honestly, overall, very good start. Good collaboration with NRT, and that work did go a long way this summer of kind of moving to the new contract. A lot of the systems moved over to NRT being responsible for. Sheila Hanna continues to support us at central office, and they have a nice staff over at the Hudson office to support NRT, and there's a lot of collaboration between the two. So we are off to a good start.
Go ahead, Joe.
I have two questions. One was because it was in the press about the safety in a local district of their buses. And so I'm just curious, how do they do a safety check of these buses? And then the second question was about the seatbelts. Is it mandatory that the kids wear seatbelts? It isn't. And it's not a state law or anything?
It is not.
Okay. And we don't have any district policy on seatbelts?
Nope.
Okay, so the one would be the safety checks. How is that done?
Well, it starts really with a good, solid contract, and thank you to Becky for all her work on and delivering that for us and getting all the signatures required, which did help enhance the safety. It's all embedded in that contract. They have to meet those minimum requirements, and that's how they do that, including inspections and documentation and all the things that come along with it. So it is pretty comprehensive. I know they spend a large amount of the time over the summer updating the fleet, getting it ready, not only for the technology we require, but the mechanical pieces as well and the functionality. So it is part of their work that they are required to attend to.
And last question, where do they house the buses in the evenings?
In the evening. So over the years, they've been in a variety of different spots, but currently our entire fleet is at their Hudson office, which is on Fox Lane, I believe, in Hudson. It's not too far away. It's right over the border of Northborough into Hudson, and so that's where all 32 of our buses reside.
Okay. I know one year they were like over at Solomon Pond.
Yep, that ended the year before last, I believe.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My question was about technology. We had, with our new contract, we had the technology added, so it was all, it's all.
Not all of it.
been
We're
done yet,
about
or-
halfway there.
Okay.
A lot of the things from GPS and the new app was part of that. We have a couple of outstanding items that they're working on. The new camera system is one that we are in the middle of the installation now, and then some of the connected features with that. So I'll be able to report on that once we get going.
Lauren?
I know in years past, at some of the elementary schools, sort of that wait time for the tiers of buses at the end of the day
Right.
has been lengthy for some of those students
Yes.
that are picked up last.
Yes.
What's the status this year?
Real good. So, day one is always tough. We had a couple of schools that experienced buses that were later than we would hoped. And then most of those were dialed in by Friday. So on day two, it got back to something that was reasonable, and I just connected with the principals this afternoon, and they were all on time to Proctor, as an example today, all arriving within 5 minutes of dismissal, which is obviously the goal. So that has been pretty consistent across the board. I'm tracking that daily. Few anomalies. If we have a sub-bus driver and doesn't really know the route, you'll have a bus that will be off. But that does occur periodically throughout the year.
Great, thank you.
Kristen?
If I recall correctly, the survey of do you want a bus or is your child going to take the bus went out a lot earlier,
Yes.
right, like last spring. Did that make a difference for you?
100%, Kristen. Thank you for bringing it up. So we do require registration. There's nothing binding to it. People are changing their plans all the time. But it does give a lot of information if we know that students will not need a bus, and we're able to remove them from the route. So it really is able to build efficiencies. And we do that annually so we can compare. And a lot of times people's arrangements will change. So they could not need a bus this year, but need it the following year. So we now do that. We just did that at the high school for my first 2 years doing this. And now we do it in all 3 districts because the data is very helpful to gather. And we do it earlier and earlier. But people change. They'll email, oh my gosh, I said I didn't need it, now I need it. Not a problem. We're still able to accommodate all those requests and changes.
So I'm glad it helped plan. just
It
having
did,
information.
100%.
Yeah.
Could I just add one comment too? So the contract did shift routing responsibility from central office to NRT. So although Keith and Sheila are still very involved in routing, that has gone very smoothly.
Yeah, it has.
And actually has taken some of the workload of routing and that endeavor off of our plates, so we can focus on other aspects of transportation.
Facilities. So as mentioned by many of the principals, huge thank you to Bud Richardson and the team. We did have some returning students that served as summer custodians that were very helpful this year. And Bud's hoping they come back for year number 3. So we did have a productive summer. The other thing it's worth noting is not only the readiness of the building from a cleaning perspective, they're also able to dive into some maintenance items that get deferred over the course of the year. So this summer in particular, they were able to dive into that in collaboration with the principals to make sure that some of those needs were taken care of. So huge thank you to Bud for that. On the capital project end of things, happy to report that both solar arrays at Lincoln Street and Proctor, although were installed last summer, finally got turned on this summer. So it does take quite a while from beginning to end of that process, not necessarily on anything in particular, just the delays in permitting and inspections and all the things that are required. So Becky and I are going to be continuing to review the performance of those and be able to report back to you at a later time, but they are turned on. I think Greg asked me 3 times this summer, are they turned on yet? I'm like, I'm not sure. So we finally got the clearance on that by about mid-July, so they did get at least a few summer months of good solar exposure to see how they're doing. So we'll be able to report that. Usually it takes about 6 to 8 months to kind of start seeing where we are, and definitely after a year, and Joan, you'll remember we did that at the region, once we had at least a year of, you could then kind of see where our savings were coming from and how it was working. So the second piece of the capital project update I want to provide, it does go back to some FY25 projects. Over this summer, we were able to, right in the beginning of the summer, complete the domestic hot water valve replacement at Melican. This was huge. It was a very outdated piece of equipment that was completely redone, which has given us a thumbs up. Certainly, and we reported on this last year, the Melican Middle School air conditioning project for the 2nd and 3rd floor exterior classrooms was complete. Thankfully, it's been 70 degrees so far this year. We haven't really had to exercise them a lot, but it was reportable that over the summer, we're able to really keep a decent humidity control there, which made it a lot more friendly for our custodians. And that was very noticeable and improved their performance. So it's not just a learning performance, we did get other benefits from it as well. One thing that was also at FY25 was pneumatic controls. This was a deep investigation of the pneumatic controls at Melican. We wound up not moving forward with a repair, but we now have a very good understanding of what that system is and what the needs are. So it's a very archaic way of kind of setting up heating for the different floors, but a repair was not advised by our engineer because of the age of the technology. So we do have that report and a very good understanding. Moving on to FY26, there are 3 projects. One was mentioned by Stacy, is the Proctor Playground did receive some needed repairs. I'm very happy for that process. It did occur this summer. And one thing we are right on the cusp of launching is the stairway replacements at the Z School and Proctor. We're in the engineering phase of both those projects, and we'll hopefully be going out to bid within the next few months. So that does highlight our capital plans and what we kind of have forecasted for the upcoming months in Northborough.
Thank you. Joan?
I have 2 questions. One is, as you talk about, you know, this is not transportation, but it's for the walkers that
Yeah.
are coming in. I know that Kristen brought up several years ago the operational of the flashing lights and that. How is that going? Are they
Really good, dialed in, yeah.
Okay.
The schedule was asked to be updated, and I have received good reports.
So they were all operational for the beginning?
That's what I was told.
Okay. And then the other one was, especially you talked about the humidity. We've had some concerns in the past years about mold in schools, but this just seemed to be another humid summer. How did the schools fare?
Really well. We've updated our protocols, the amount of inspections we were doing, and I got a clean bill from actually all 3 of our facilities managers. So that was something we do on a daily basis for our buildings. We know our troubled spots, and we keep a close eye on those. So we're in good shape in that way.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think it's, when you have a concern and you implement a program the following year, it's good to see that it's
Yeah.
continuing so we don't have a reoccurring problem going backwards.
That's right. So particularly at Proctor and at Milliken, you notice the improvement because of the air conditioners that have been installed. It does help.
That does. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kelly?
Couple things, questions about Milliken specifically. I know in the springtime, there was some plumbing issues, toilets not working, things like that.
Those were the maintenance items I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
That was probably where the majority of those maintenance
So
items occurred.
are all toilets
All-
functioning?
All toilets are operational.
Okay, that's.
Just a quick comment on that. The
Yeah.
reason why they can't be done as they
You have
come
to
in.
shut off the
We gotta
water.
shut off the entire water to the entire
Yeah.
building because it is not separated.
Yep. And then, do you know if that plumbing had any fixed or, I guess the water bubblers?
Yep.
You know, those little water refilling things? I guess they tend to run a little warm.
They might be getting towards, I'm not sure.
I don't know
That's
if
the
there's
first
a
I've heard
life
of that.
expectancy of those things or not, but, yeah, so I guess that's
Take a peek.
been some of the feedback is from the kids is that, you know, I'm like, they're like, I drank all my water. Well, why didn't you go refill it then? They're like, it's hot. I don't want to drink hot water. I'm like, what do you mean it's hot water? You know, like, so that's just some feedback that I've heard is that it's a little warm.
Gotcha.
Another thing at Milliken, signage and arrows. I know I mentioned to Greg, the signs for the exit are kind of like tilted, and it's, I don't know if people think it's suggestive, but there's been more than one occasion, and it's more often happens off of school hours than it does during specific things, but people tend to go in the exit, you know, when they want to go to the tennis courts
Yep.
or the soccer thing, so
Yep.
they'll just go like there.
Quicker.
Yeah, it's great, except when somebody's coming this way.
Right.
And, you know, so there's that. I don't know if there's, I was just thinking, like, even if sign is, because I know signs are hard to put, but like painting the pavement, like, and even if it was 2 double arrows, like exit and in, that would also probably help with carpool and
Yep.
stuff. Knowing that there's 2 lanes that people can go in. You know, Gretchen today was in the middle of Lincoln Street.
She wearing her vest?
No, she didn't have a vest on, but she was trying to tell people on Lincoln Street to come around this person
Yeah.
to go into the parking lot, because there's like, you know,
Yeah.
so just that might even help with like,
We have had Safe Routes to School out to Milliken a couple of times to kind of evaluate and give suggestions.
Yeah.
That one didn't come from the last round, but I'll take another look at the report and
Yeah.
see what we can do.
yeah, those are just some things I've noticed.
Okay, thank you.
And lastly, we'll hear from Dr. Reinhorn.
Okay. Although the pace slows down a lot in the summer, I do think it's important to point out that there is PD that happens over the summer. It is often led by coordinators, directors, but also by teachers. So periodically throughout the summer, there are groups of getting together and doing various types of curriculum work and professional development. But we really kick off the year with our NASA retreat and professional development for our administrative team. And we've this year focused on strategic plan, school improvement plan, our goals, and really getting clear about our priorities and kind of the through lines of the work that we're doing. And soon after that, we welcomed our new teachers at New Teacher Orientation. And we bring the whole administrative team. We had 15 new teachers in Northborough that we welcomed to the district. Some of them are actually not new, but in new roles, but most of them are new to the district and bring new talent and experience. So that is very exciting. And then with our opening day, we bring together our 3 districts, 1 community of learners all together at Algonquin, which kind of launches the year, and then we go back to our schools, and each of the principals launches the year for their school. Some of the focus areas for professional development this year within those opening days at the school level were universal design for learning, and really continuing to dive deeper into that framework. And you heard a little bit from Principal Mahoney about restorative practices, and that was another theme that many of the principals wove into their opening this year, but really all connected back to our district theme of belonging. Student belonging in academic settings, in the school in general, and in the community belonging. The other things that were happening throughout the professional development days included some discipline-specific professional development. So there's a lot happening for different groups at the same time throughout the district, and some are cross-district. So I'm going to name a few of them that were some of the big ones, but know that there were many other things going on at the same time. One is that we do our safety care training for many of our ESPs and making sure people are prepared for de-escalation and to manage some of those difficult situations. We had professional development for EL education, which is our middle school ELA program. And we also had professional development for our middle school math teachers with Carnegie, for our middle school science teachers, where we are going to be piloting some programs. So we had professional development around the programs we're piloting. And then at the elementary level, this is year 2 of Eureka Squared, but for most people it's year 1. We had early adopters last year, and what was really exciting about that PD, among other things, was that our new math specialists helped to lead it, did a fantastic job along with our early adopters. So our early adopters played a role in sort of peer-to-peer professional development and being able to tell their colleagues what was coming. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight comprehensive health and physical education. So we have a continuing grant. We were awarded a second year on our grant, and we had the same consultant working with our health and PE teachers and working on scope and sequence and curriculum development for that work. So that was also happening in the first day. So there was a lot going on, and those are just a few highlights.
Joe?
Could you just tell me what years we are into the new ELA program and in the Carnegie math? And then the last question is, when you said you're piloting science, so are we looking into getting new science curriculum for the students, and what grade levels?
Sure. So, so I think you're asking about ELA at the middle school level.
Mm-hmm.
So at the middle school level, this is year 2 of EL education. We started in like October of last year, so this will be we're starting right away, and it's year 2. For Carnegie Math, it is year 3, and elementary ELA is it's all blurring together, 3, also year 3.
Yeah.
And then science, we have been involved in a curriculum and instruction review last year and made the decision to pilot 2 of the programs, and that's for grades 6 through 8. That is focusing on. The pilots will happen this fall, and that's in partnership with Trotter across
Is
the
the state giving it directives on what curriculum areas they want covered in science? I mean, is it earth science? Is it some biology? I mean, it's early, but.
Yeah, it's still aligned with the state standards, which are aligned with the national standards. So it's not that there's been a change
That's what I was gonna ask,
in the
has there been any
standards.
change?
There has been a change in the emphasis on phenomena-based science, or storyline, sometimes people call it, but there has been a change in the pedagogy. And so what the state has put out is instructional guides that supplement the curriculum frameworks. So if you think of the science frameworks previously really focused on what we are teaching, and what the state has been pushing over the last couple of years is how are we teaching science. And so we're looking for materials that.
When you say pedagogy, I'm like, how did they shift the pedagogy on science? That makes sense.
So we're looking for materials that better support that shift in pedagogy. Not really a change of what we teach, but how we teach.
Our educators are certainly busy in every curriculum area.
Yes,
as
they
everyone
are.
probably knows in science, right?
And so that's happening at Trotter, not Milliken?
At both, they're working together on
Oh,
it.
they're working together, okay.
Yes.
Science instructor, awesome.
No, actually, the question what you said.
I know.
You
Science
mentioned
was
two programs how are they separated, or Like, I assume
For
an
the
individual
pilot?
student doesn't do both science programs, yeah.
It's a great question, and not all kids will experience the pilot, so we'll be communicating where our kids are experiencing it. But what we have is, we have eighth grade teachers at, not all eighth grade teachers, but eighth grade teachers at Melican and at Trotter, and they will pilot both programs that we're looking at. And then we have different unit, like a unit.
One at each, 2 separate units, 4 units total.
Do the families know which?
So we
Are
will
the
communicate with families.
Okay,
So the way it's gonna work is that if I'm an eighth grade teacher who's piloting, I'll first pilot a unit. They're actually starting the year piloting a unit with Amplify, which is one of the publishers that we're looking at. And then they're gonna be piloting a unit with Open SciEd, which is the other company that we're looking at. So anybody who was piloting needed to pilot both. And then we have a teacher from Melican and a teacher from Trotter who are doing the same thing at 6th grade. So it was, teachers opted in to piloting, but we wanted to make sure we had both schools represented, and anyone who piloted both programs. And then the other teachers will come and observe during the pilots. And they created a feedback form and a look-fors that are aligned to the priorities, which we defined last year, which are how we narrowed it down to these 2.
And I'm just guessing the push on how you teach is more make them think, make them work in experiments and problem solve, like the open-ended problem-based learning that was big for a while, but you still want them to be doing the inquiry and thinking about things?
Yes.
That's what I understood by that too. Yeah. Joan?
This would be only a personal request, is to, when we're doing all the piling, just making sure that we're giving the faculty enough time to talk among themselves. You know, I think that even if you would give them 3 days, if you give them 3 professional development days, they probably want a 4th. Because as they're doing the piling, they need to talk among themselves and communicate and see what's working, what strategies, and what are not working. So I just hope that, as a former teacher, just give them the time that they need to talk among themselves and to work out the kinks if there are.
Is that a suggestion for like a then working group between those? Because they did opt in, right? They opted in, but like the formation of a group connecting those individuals?
Yeah, especially if, if we have teachers in,
So they're not
in 2
disparate.
districts.
Yeah.
Working. I mean, I know they're communicating with you and you're doing an excellent job doing it out. But I always know a lot of teachers, as a teacher, you just want to communicate with each other and see what's working.
There's a curriculum and instruction review committee that they are all part of that meets monthly. And then in addition, the 2 middle school principals have coordinated so that their department meetings once a month are on the same day, so that they can have an additional time when they can connect.
Okay.
So the principals are absolutely on board with,
Okay. Thank you.
that. And we're always trying to balance the adult time not being at the expense of students.
Right.
And making sure teachers are in front of students. And that's the tension that we struggle with when we think about professional development.
And I think implementing a new resource at the middle school level is different than implementing a new resource at the elementary level. Because we have domain-specific educators at the middle school level
Right.
who are focused on science versus elementary teachers who are focused on
Scoping out, yeah.
ELA, they have a new math curriculum, science group. So we're able to, I think, focus a little bit better as a result of this domain-specific.
Well, even at the middle school level, they spend more time on those curriculum areas than they do at the elementary level.
Time is so appreciated.
It is.
Always.
Yes. As I was saying that, I was going, right, Lauren? Right, Lauren? I need backup here, right, Lauren?
Absolutely. Very, very well said, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay. 2025-26 school committee presentation schedules.
Sure, so I did put a draft presentation cycle for the committee to review. It is a work in progress. If there are topics that the school committee is interested in learning about and are not listed, we can always adjust the schedule, or if the cadence doesn't seem to flow in the way you would like, reach out to Bryce and we can make adjustments.
Yeah, just let me know. All right, approval of grants and donations. We have 3 grants and donations to approve today. One is a donation of $655 donation from the Peaslee PTO toward the purchase of a buddy bench. $12,679 for refurbishment of all of the gyms, or five schools?
Yep.
Dang. Approval of a donation of books and supplies with a value of $1,080. Do you have any insight into these donations?
No,
or
just where-
folks that we need to write letters to?
We will,
or-
on behalf of the school committee, we will send our letter of appreciation to each of the organizations. We're very appreciative of Northborough Youth Basketball Association, and we also have a new partnership with Amazon that we're really excited about. So
I saw that. Is there a reason, so from Amazon is going to be an ongoing potential
Yes.
donation of supplies? Awesome.
Great. Greg, what type of books will that be?
So
The
I think,
Amazon?
what-
Was that the Amazon book?
Yes.
Do you want me to?
Sure.
So what we did with that this year was Selby, Maggie, and Kathy Lazat were the 3 coordinators. So that's math, our belonging and community engagement, and ELD, and we multilingual learners. And we focused on some of the kind of needs in those areas, and it ranged from supplies for the summer program that Selby spoke about tonight, to books. There was one of our summer PDs that Kathy Lazat led was a summer reading group that involved some of the early adopters from math, and it was a book, and they got the book through Amazon. So that's an example. So it was a wide range of types of things, but that's what we focused on this year.
Lauren?
The Northborough Youth Basketball Association grant is very generous.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the relationship is with Northborough Youth Basketball, and if Peaslee is on the list, and if so, does it make sense to refurbish Peasley's gym floors?
It does, it does make sense to maintain them as much and as often as you can. Northborough Youth has been outstanding. I mean, obviously, the benefit is they also benefit from improved service.
And you just describe refurbishing, because
Yeah.
because it's not a redoing of the
Yes, we're
floor,
not
per
taking
se.
it down to the
Yeah,
wood.
Yeah.
It's a scuffing and resurfacing of all of
Yeah.
them, which does improve safety and just overall,
Longevity of-
longevity and everything that's needed to maintain it. It's a maintenance measure, not necessarily a huge capital improvement measure. But obviously generous and always an offer. We never have to ask. So that's always what I like about it, and a lot of collaboration with Bud on making it happen during the summer months.
So over the years, Northborough Youth Basketball has given a monetary donation, significant value. So I think it's been at least 10 years that this has been the case.
Yeah.
It's not annual, though, so there's
It's
a
annual.
cycle. That's annual?
It's annual.
Yeah, they do it every
I'm
year.
not remembering that. from
You know, it's
Yeah.
anywhere between $25,000 and $30,000.
And they also support Algonquin as well.
Yeah. So with that, I feel like even more so, we need to be aware when we've got leaks above gym floors.
Mm.
And I feel like there's still leaks in certain,
There are.
so, because I know, I know a lot of the people on the Northborough Youth Basketball board, and that's one of their pet peeves is when they hear about buckets, So, I mean, we're grateful for them having these donations.
Yes, so the only school that we're aware of that does have leaks is Proctor at the current time, and that is, we're still investigating. The roof is not leaking, it's actually
Something
one of the units.
Rooftop unit.
So
Okay.
we're trying to find a solution for that.
Okay.
It does
Still a
require-
rain
Yeah.
event
Does
issue,
require
but
a
it's
bucket.
not
Yeah,
roofing.
yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
we appreciate their generous donations to us,
Yeah.
and
But
we
it's
don't
also
want to
safety
see
of
them,
the students.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to see that stop.
Okay, well, I will take a motion. Can we approve all of them at once? Joan?
Chair, I move that we approve the $655 donation for the Peaslee PTO to Peaslee School toward the purchase of a buddy bench. The second one, approval of a $12,679 donation from Northborough Youth Basketball Association to the Northborough Public Schools for gym floor refurbishment. And the third one, approval of a donation of books and supplies with approximate value of $1,080 to the Northborough Public Schools from Amazon.
Second?
Moved by Joan, second by Lauren. Discussion? What is that, a vote? Raise your hands. Okay. That's unanimous. Thank you for the approval, and thank you to everybody who is continuing these donations to our schools. This is incredible.
And we'll issue appreciation letters.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to speak to the fact that that is not in our operating budget, that is a result of a community relationship, I think is something to flag there as incredibly important. So, thank you. All right, old business, subcommittee and liaison assignments. Do we have any updates? Do folks want to move? Stay where they are? Do we have any vacancies?
Cheryl did not receive any requests to be on certain subcommittees.
There are several inactives.
I mean, my only thing is the collective bargaining, like, as long as it's that, because I know I'm part of that.
Yes, to confirm, you mean confirming on?
If it's October 4th, yeah, the
October 4th.
October 18th I cannot do. But if it's October 4th.
We're going to get a confirmation on that date.
I will send out a
Yeah.
confirmation tomorrow.
What the date is?
Saturday-
Which one it
I'm
is?
pretty confident it is Saturday the 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, did that switch?
Oh, I
The-
have it on the 18th.
Yes.
So did I. I have that in my head too. It's just why I said it to her. But
Both,
think
I actually had both dates in my calendar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know why,
We'll,
but,
Okay.
yeah.
Wait, what this is, the teacher's negotiation? I have that as the 18th at 8:30 a.m., 8:30, 1:30, so let me know if that changed.
Yeah.
Or I'll be
think it
showing
might
up
be
at
October-
8:30 a.m.
I think it may be October 4th.
And will that be the whole committee?
Okay.
Because we just
we'll
have
talk
two
about
people.
that in executive session, like who
Okay.
plans on attending and
Okay.
strategy.
All right.
Thank you. So everybody's all set there? Okay. Moving on. MSBA update, Peaslee Building Committee update.
I'll turn it over to Becky.
So the Peaslee Building Committee has continued its work on the feasibility study phase over the summer. On July 7th, the MSBA did approve the award of the contract for the owner's project manager to PMA Consultants. And since that contract has been signed, they have really started the work now of procuring a designer for the project. So we're actually in the midst of the request for services being out on the street. That was issued 2 weeks ago. A week from today, we actually have a site visit at Peaslee at 7:30 in the morning for prospective designers to come in and see the school. Questions are then due to PMA the following Friday, and then bids will be, or rather, requests for services will be due to them on Wednesday, September 24th. At that point in time, there'll be a committee that will review all of the submitted proposals, and they will rank them, and it will be presented to the MSBA, who our top candidates are, because that process actually involves the MSBA, where we will have 3 committee members, and then there'll also be members of the MSBA who will be on the designer selection committee. So it is moving along. It's been a busy summer, but it has been, I think, a productive summer. Oh, and we have 26 firms who have expressed an interest so far,
Holy
too.
smokes, that sounds like a problem more than a good thing.
A lot of them will look at the project and then decide.
And they'll, yeah, once they get into the school, they might
I'm just
not
saying, like
submit.
26 submissions
It may
for
just be
design
curiosity,
review.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Will you be able to weed out any of those before, or you will be able to?
Hopefully some will self-select.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Z School roof project update.
Keith.
Yeah, so similarly, MSBA, we're accepted into the accelerated repair program through MSBA for the Z roof. That was something we engaged in last year. We also appropriated funds to get us through this feasibility and schematic design phase. So it's a little ahead of what Becky just described. We have both a project manager and a designer assigned to us by the MSBA, and we've been working with them over the summer on the different options. They've been on site at the Z School and putting together a package of what their recommendations will be. So we are actually meeting about the project tomorrow. I'm going to get an update from the OPM on where we are and what lies ahead. It does dovetail with a prescribed timeline for MSBA, so in order to meet those marks, we got to make sure that both the OPM and the designer can do that, and we are informed along the way. So it is a little less of an involved process, but obviously very important, and I feel confident that our firms are going to give us some viable options to consider.
And just the goal is to have a warrant article for this spring
right.
for the approval of the.
Are we staying close to the projections you laid out a couple
It
years
seems
ago?
so. Yeah, it seems so, Bryce. I think I'm going to actually learn a lot tomorrow on where we are and what to expect. And if it is a deviation from that, I'll provide a report as soon as possible.
That'd be good.
Keep you posted.
Thank you. Okay, solar update?
Did that earlier, but
Still on.
They're still on.
That's great.
I jumped the gun on that one, Bryce. So yes, they are on, and we will be reviewing over the next few months.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Superintendent's report to the committee and enrollments.
So in your packet is the enrollment report as of August 22nd. So I think early in the summer, we did talk about kindergarten enrollments and really seeing an increase in enrollments. So we did add a section at Proctor. We have many students who are not attending their neighborhood school as a result of the enrollment numbers, and they are attending Proctor. So when Stacy talked about Proctor enrolled 32 new students to Proctor, many of those students were kindergarten students. In general, our projections were off a bit. So if you look at NASDAQ projections, it was 1577. We're at NASDAQ was 1577. We're at 1601. And if you look at the class size, we're really at the ceiling on many of our sections across the grade levels. And in some instances, we're 1 over, and that is allowable by the class size policy, plus or minus 1. But all in all, it's been a busy summer. Sheila, Hannah, and the schools have done a great job enrolling students and unenrolling, and we'll be monitoring this in the next week or two to see where we land.
I have a couple of questions, but does anybody else? So just going to the policy and going to the fact that we have heard from folks that it's disruptive to the reallocation of them away from their neighborhood schools as a general practice. We have some classrooms that are 22 to 23 pupils per instructor. Our policy is set at 20.
So our policy is K through 2.
K through 2, 20.
3, 4, and 5 is 22.
22. So we're in excess, both at K, in a K, or could be at excess, but on 5th grade, we
Yes.
have
So 5th grade, we have one
in excess.
section that is.
3rd grade by half a person, which obviously doesn't make any sense, but yeah. So I guess I'm just wondering, it's something for the committee to consider that, if our community members are starting to tell us that the more important thing to them is the fact that their students are going to the schools in which they would desire them to, I do think it wise that we listen to that as how we approach the classroom size policy, and where we think we have room to allow for these families to get what they're looking for, because it's other complications than just a daytime placement. There's NEDP and after school and transportation.
Short of adding another teacher for each section, which we don't have building, in the room, how do we fix that? That's what I don't.
But you would have to go outside the policy, that's what I'm saying, in consideration of
So you're saying
an
change the
adjustment to the
policy
policy
to increase the class size numbers?
in order to accommodate the inbound structure of kindergartners.
So what we could do, Bryce, we could place every student in their neighborhood school, create an enrollment so we can look at
Be
what that would
great.
look like. I will share that it's, I do understand from a family's perspective, not being able to send their children to a neighborhood school is a hardship. I don't want to underestimate that. But also, when we look at the class size policy, it's also collective. It's a collective experience of all the kids in that class. And it does matter if there are 22 kids in the class versus 26, and the amount of attention and detail an educator can deliver to a group of kids. So I think it's something we should investigate and think about. We should hear from families, but we also should hear from educators.
Totally.
But it would definitely be an interesting exercise to see.
I think you
if
gotta
we-
run the
if we
experiment,
landed
yeah.
Where, you
Like-
know, if we did place kids where they were supposed to be,
Yeah.
what it would look like.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, partly I haven't pushed on that the last couple of years because of the feasibility that's going to be happening with Peaslee. And, you know, I've been told that that's one of the things they'll be looking at, but that is something that I want to know. I know when we were on the thing, what was it, 3 years ago? We were at 25%, 12.5%. 12.5%, which is basically half of one school is not where they were supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious what it is now.
And I think, so pre-policy,
Yeah.
and Joan can will remember this, that,
Mhm.
you know, we had fifth grade, we had sections with 9 kids
Yeah.
in one school and 30
Mhm.
in the other school. So you know, the attempt was to try to balance out class size,
Mhm.
but there are unintended consequences. of it,
Mhm.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not only just honing in on this concept, but as a larger picture, and if you're thinking about the Peaslee feasibility, which is years away from anything being done necessarily, so we have several years of this inbound challenge for families, but also as we review the Peaslee, the understanding of what this looks like, keeping 4 separate schools, and just what it means for the community, and as just a level of acceptance, not as a reason to push on any single lever, I guess is my point.
And just to add to that, when we were on that committee like 3 years ago, there were a few questions, I think, at the end that sort of got unanswered because it was just put on hold because of the Peaslee feasibility study, which made sense. But for me, again, anecdotally, as you're hearing from families, most of the families I know where their kids are in a different school, they chose to do that. Not that that's the case for everyone, it can certainly be a hardship. So I didn't know how to figure out the difference between families who moved within Northborough, like I did, and decided to keep their kids in the same school. I happen to be in the same district anyway, but I know a lot of families that did that, versus a couple I know that did get placed somewhere else and were like, you know, and then I think a question I had asked at the end was like, well, how big a problem is that? Can we get feedback from families that like, it's a hardship, it's disappointing, but it would have ramifications sort of far and wide if we were to change the policy.
Agreed.
Having had small classes myself and even classes that were up to 18, 24, like it's a huge difference versus a few smaller kids, like being able to interact. In my case, I see grades lower because they're not getting the attention. So yeah, that would be a big impact. So I would want to know, you know, from the families and from the community, like there was a survey 3 or 4 years ago that went out about grade change, something like that, where we want to hear what was going on, because then most of the feedback I get actually is on the class size policy is the classes should be smaller.
Yeah,
Well, but there's
that's what I
competing
hear all the
priorities.
time.
That's what I'm
too.
pointing to, right? There's competing priorities.
yeah.
And I think important that we map out, especially as we go into the feasibility, what solutions are for the families and the community, you know, and, or not that you can eliminate every single opportunity for hardship or a challenge in a kid's placement, but just that like, everybody's got to start to really see it from all angles.
And I would add that, you know, as part of the Peaslee building project, it's really important to get a pulse of the community and what it will support.
Yeah.
So, you know, lessons learned in Erie Elementary, that although it was a great project and, you know, a well-designed school, the community didn't support it. So I think it's part of the school committee's work to understand, you know, what a community would support, and then educating them around the trade-offs from different scenarios. And that work is early on in the process. we don't wait until
Right.
we're well into it. So that will be something I'll be thinking about and actually putting together a plan around how we can get feedback from not just school-age families, but citizens of the community.
Absolutely.
Joan?
Two questions I have. The first one is, several years ago, we looked at the kids that were not going to the neighborhood schools. They had the opportunity the following year that they could go to the neighboring school, or they could stay in the school they're at. Do we know what, maybe tell us next month, the percentage of kids that, and families that decide to stay, not to return to the neighborhood school, but stay in the school that they are?
We can get that data. Anecdotally, very few students choose to return to their neighborhood schools after spending a year in the school they attend.
They got those
Families
friendships.
love
Yeah,
their neighborhood
schools, even if
Yeah.
it's not down the
And,
road.
and that's the thing, they just
Yeah.
love their school.
If they,
Right.
they're disappointed that they have to, their child has to attend another school, and then typically when asked, do you want your child to return to the neighborhood school, the answer is no, we love school X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, that experientially, that makes a ton of sense to me.
But we can collect data.
Yeah.
I think, Bryce, your idea of kind of studying this, getting parent feedback, getting teacher feedback, and really having a comprehensive view of this is really important, and it's more important than ever because we're moving down this Peaslee building
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good too, to talk to whoever's gonna be leading this part of the discussion for Peaslee, whether it's PMA or the designer, so that we're not doubling the work, we can maybe collaborate.
Agreed.
And Greg, are there any empty spaces available in any of our schools? I mean, school, education is not the way it was when I went through school, because you have so many breakout sessions, you have ESL, you have the reading program, you have remedial math, specialists. I mean, you give a teacher to take 4 kids or 5 kids and work in a small group, they'll work in the hallway, they'll work in the closet. But are we filled at our capacity in our buildings?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on which school we're talking about and what programs. You know, each school has a unique set of programs. For example, Proctor has 2 CASA programs, so that takes 2 classrooms. So I would say that, you know, across our 4 elementary schools, you know, we're probably at 90% capacity. That's the conversation we're having around potentially bringing back preschool to Northborough, just out of a convenience for our Northborough preschool parents. If we do that, you know, we'll be closer to 97% capacity. So we're watching enrollment very closely. We have a bubble class or 2 that quickly gets to 100%.
And I know there was, I think it was last year or the year before, we had in October, we had like 13 kids that moved in. Do we foresee any of that happening, or are we sort of
I think
static?
one of the variables right now is the shelter, the Econo Lodge shelter. So right now, we have 11 students who are part of our community. That is part of our enrollment, and then we have, I think, 19 students who were cost-sharing transportation to attend the school of origin for those students. So that's something we're looking at as well in terms of, you know, what our enrollment would look like as a result of Econo Lodge and impact that has.
So that can help make a variable into our class sizes. Okay.
Sorry, can you clarify, so is that 30 students from the O'Connell Lodge, both of those groups?
There's 32
32, 11 who are
attending our
schools,
system.
and 19 that we are transporting.
They chose to continue their schooling where they left off in the spring.
Oh, okay, and they were moved, similar, last year, didn't we do kind of the reverse? The students were moved elsewhere and we brought them here. But now we have students who were in the reverse situation. Okay.
And do we pay for that transportation?
We cost share with the sending district.
Cost share, okay. So that can vary from district to district.
So, yep.
Oh,
Just wrapping up in moments.
Okay. That's all? We
Moving on to
go to
budget.
All right.
Final budget, FY '25?
Becky.
Okay, so we, over the summer, did close out the fiscal year 2025 budget. As you recall, the operational budget for that year was $29,119,597, and we ended the fiscal year with a balance of $187.49. And the only reason why we have that remaining on the bottom line is because we had to make an adjustment to our grant after we had already closed the books. So otherwise, we would have been at zero. So proud of the work that the finance team did to bring us in. There are 4 additional accounts that the school committee has not yet approved that are over expended. The first is substitutes for professional development, and that is due to some of the work that was done at the end of the school year to prepare for the upcoming school year. Textbooks, we did purchase some of our K through 8 mathematics materials in anticipation of the school year. Health services, that was for nurse substitutes. And then lastly, there is a new insurance cost. We have purchased insurance for our student athletes as well as for coverage during physical education classes. So that was a new expense on the operational budget. As I indicated in the report, there were really 3 main drivers for the FY25 budget. That was special education transportation, our long-term substitutes, and then also our teacher specialists. Special education transportation was due to a new contract that occurred kind of in the middle of the summer for us, where the previous vendor did not work out, and so a new vendor was brought on board. We also were able to do some prepays for our special education transportation. We are allowed under Mass General Law to do that. So we utilized $182,000 of that money to prepay for transportation for FY26. So that will only help this year's budget as well. And then in terms of the long-term substitutes, this is really the first year that we're tracking this in that way. So it's going to be very helpful as we start to prepare the FY27 budget.
Is this the one that you teased out as a separate budget line?
Yes, yep. And so what I would request is for the school committee to approve this budget until audited. And then I also included a listing of all of the accounts that were overexpended. I think it would probably be better for you to approve all of those lines, just so we make sure that we have captured everything that has been overexpended in FY25.
Meaning you want us to read?
No, you don't have to read
I
all
will
of
take a
them.
motion, I will take a motion
It's like-
to approve all over budget line items
As presented.
as presented in the FY25 final budget.
Yes.
So moved?
Moved by Kelly,
Second. Second.
second by Kristen. Discussion? Vote? Unanimous?
And then we also need to approve
The final budget until audited.
Yes, you want me to do that?
Sure, I'll take the motion.
I'll move to accept the FY25 monthly general fund report as of June 30th, 2025 until audited.
Second.
Moved by Lawrence, seconded by Joan. Discussion? Vote? Everyone unanimous? Approved. The FY25 final budget until audited.
Okay.
All right.
So.
FY26?
Yes. Moving on to 26.
That's how
So,
long the celebration lasts.
all right, that's in the books now. So FY26, obviously, this is just representative of the first 2 months of the fiscal year. However, we've worked really hard to encumber some of those known expenses. All of the salaries are encumbered for the year. So as of August 31st, we did have an ending balance of 2.2 million, or 7.57% of the operational budget. It always feels so good to say that, to see that kind of number. But
That's awesome.
we will continue to work to make sure that everything is accounted for in FY26. This budget does also contain 8 function codes that are over budget. We have reviewed the accounts and determined where we will be taking the money from elsewhere within the budget. So the 4 are department heads, and that was due to a salary adjustment. Instructional equipment, that was for a strings program purchase that I had budgeted elsewhere in another line item. Travel for teachers, every year it varies based on the needs of the students, so travel is always a difficult one to really predict. Instructional hardware for student and staff, we did make some additional technology purchases over the summer. And then lastly, guidance, and we did repurpose an ESP position at Milliken to create a .4 guidance position based on student need. So that's something that was exciting that happened over the summer. And then also there is water, and that was due to a rate increase that occurred last year. Building security system, this is a new account, again, that we've set up, and we will start to utilize that and to budget that for the annual costs related to our building securities. And then lastly, health insurance, and this is for reimbursement for co-pays that we do provide to our Unit A staff. I also wanted to let the committee know that at the end of FY '25, the legislature did approve supplemental money as part of the millionaire's tax for special education transportation. If you recall, in the Student Opportunity Act, they ultimately wanted to get transportation reimbursement to a 75% reimbursement rate. They were moving through that. This accelerated it, and now for FY '25, we did receive that 75% reimbursement. So Northborough saw an additional $81,000, and we can utilize those funds in FY '26, or we can use them in '27, depending on the need.
Those funds, special ed transportation earmarked specifically?
Yes.
And just, we did have a change in special education transportation.
We did again, yes, yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that is my report on FY '26.
I'll move to approve until audited the FY '26 monthly general fund report as of August 31st, 2025.
Second.
Moved by Lauren, second by Joan. Discussion?
I'll make a second motion.
Oh.
I forgot the second part. I'll make
Oh.
a second motion, it's fine.
All right, sorry, we'll vote on the first one.
Yes.
Unanimous, yes.
Also, I would like to move to approve the function codes as presented this evening that are over expended in fiscal year 2026.
Second.
Moved by Lauren, second by Joan. Discussion? Vote? Unanimous, approved. All right, 27 budget priorities.
So in your packet are the FY '26 budget priorities that we did move to FY '27. I have scheduled a operational budget subcommittee meeting for September 22nd at 5 p.m. virtually for the committee to discuss budget priorities, evaluate what was accomplished, what work remains, and to identify any new priorities as we move FY '27 budget process forward. When I looked at the budget priorities, I mean, there are priorities that we can check off, which I think is very positive. But there are others that still remain as unfulfilled priorities.
Anybody have any comments on the 27 budget priorities? We'll have the subcommittee meeting to kind of get realigned with those, but is there anything anybody feels like is off there, or?
We haven't been able to move too many things off yet, so
No,
hopefully this will be
we're
the year.
working on it.
This will be
We're
the year.
working on it.
The math specialist positions, updated math curriculum, we did create one health educators to
Yep.
support the middle school level. We're moving forward with implementing comprehensive health piece of education standards. So there are a few things we're making progress.
Totally.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the goals on here and the budget priorities. I mean, there's numerous.
And there are items that
So-
aren't on there anymore because we have gotten them done.
Right.
Which is great.
So,
But again, these are very helpful as we move through the process to prioritize and, when there are limited resources, this is a kind of anchor document.
All right, budget calendar.
So Becky, Cheryl, and I did go through the budget calendar, and we did map out the budget year. This is a draft. These dates will change. We will add dates as meetings take place. But again, it gives us a sense of the cadence of meetings and when meetings will take place, and what types of meetings will be happening over the next several months.
School committee member reports. Any at this time? Joan?
Of course. I have two, and I passed out some of the information. The first one is, these all are on Northborough Ed Foundation. On Tuesday, September 16th, the Northborough Ed Foundation will be having a grant awards reception at the Northborough Library at 4 o'clock, and that will be where the educators, pre-K through 12, will receive their grants. The other one is one that I just received today, that is and I passed it on to Bryce, and he can take it under his leadership. That is the Apple Fest Parade, which is going to be on Saturday, September 20th. I saw the banners are already in town, and it's from 12 noon to 1, and there is a form to be filled out on the back, which Bryce, I guess you could probably do as chair. I don't think we have a float. I don't think.
It's just us.
Or an activity. I don't think we're going to be throwing up roller skating
Too bad
or.
we couldn't get a fancy car, though.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. That'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
Unfortunately, I can't participate this year. The girls have cheer on Saturday, because it's usually Sundays, the parades.
Yeah.
So,
It got changed this year, right?
the parades this year, it looks like it's on Saturday.
It's on
So
Saturday.
we're at a cheer comp on Saturday.
Okay, so
I don't
Bryce,
know
I'll
who
give
else.
that one over to you.
Yep.
And then the other one is that the Northborough Ed Foundation is having the Apple Fest Gala Friday night, September 19th, from 7:30 to 11 o'clock at Juniper Hill Pavilion over at the golf course. And that is going to be cocktail attire, and I believe that is going to start at 7:30. I said it goes to 11. Tickets right now are $65 per person. And that's the end of my reports.
I have a question. I don't have any reports, but I don't know if somebody could report on, did anybody go to the town meeting?
Yes.
Town or the
Financial
Trend
summit?
Monitoring
Financial, yeah.
Kristen?
Did, and John
Kristen
did.
went, and I went. Greg?
I don't know,
Becky.
is
We
that,
have some, can we have some reporting?
Does anybody have
Is
any
that under
report on that?
communications here, or are we,
oh, is that on communications?
is that what 2025 Financial Summit was? I was waiting on that one
Is that what that is?
to cry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't know if that's what that was or not.
But I will jump ahead. I don't want to just go into it. We have no money.
There's nothing else
and
before
just
then. Great report! Okay,
4 hours.
Summary report. Wait, hold on, give it one more time.
We have no money.
Okay.
That's what I
Thanks,
learned
boss.
over 4+ hours.
Yeah. It was a long meeting, 4+ hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Every department made a presentation, fire, police, the
Yep.
Is
health
this what we're
report.
sitting on here? This is the.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes. And Greg did a great job in doing the needs of the schools and what's coming up. And then the town administrator spoke, and just like Kristen said,
Yeah.
we're going to get the money.
Every department gave a level services budget and then a level funding budget summary and what the impacts would be. I guess what they were proposing the impacts would be if they had a level funding budget, so same amount of money, how that would affect services. But yeah, Greg did an excellent presentation. Number of departments were just, okay, we could cut here and here, but, and then Jason Little gave a longer presentation, sort of a summary at the end with the projections and a lot of budget numbers. We were right now looking at an override at FY '28 possibly. That's if we follow our current projections, which I don't know how much we want to discuss right now, but.
Were there community members two questions. Were there community members there giving their input so that'll help town meeting at all, or
No, so the room
Okay.
was pretty full.
thinking.
It was
Yeah.
fine, yeah, it was live, like it was posted as a meeting. Anybody could have attended, anybody could have been on YouTube or Zoom.
Okay.
Actually, my mother was watching it on YouTube, so people could be watching on YouTube.
Okay.
But in the room was financial planning, appropriations, select board, and then Joan and I and Greg and Becky from school committee, so
There were some people sitting on the outside.
they were all department heads
Those
and
were
people
department
from
heads.
different
I didn't know if that
departments.
was
Yeah, it was
public.
all
They
public
did that
employees.
similar last year too. It was mostly just department heads and employees that were along the perimeter.
Did they happen to recommend, I know years ago, John Coder would say like, and this is the range I want all the budget, to be in. Did they happen to say that about us, for the schools, or?
So the modeling was at 3%. So when Jason Little did his forecasting, it was at 3% in terms of projections and modeling. So, I mean, my takeaway was that departments need to come in no more than 3%.
Yeah, yeah, my takeaway was it's gonna be a difficult year across the town, like not just for us, but it's gonna be tough across the town. You know, especially if we want projects later.
Great, thank you.
Educational policy, none at this time. Development and distribution, none at this time. Personnel items, distribution of personnel report and new staff appointments.
Yes, so HR department, under Heather's leadership, has been extremely busy. So reflective in your packet is just one district of 3 that the department leads. You'll notice a lot of resignations. That is typical in terms of educator support specialists, finding positions. And also we were very fortunate this year. We did an outstanding job in hiring new faculty and staff to our organization. And Heather put together the staff appointment list. And we're very excited about the class of 2025, 26, and their expertise that they bring to us. And thank you to Heather and the team. It's a small but mighty department.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, can I make a comment?
Please.
I saw Heather this summer, and I was like, oh, how's your summer? She's like, well, if you work in HR in a school district, your summer's really busy. She's like, it's not like a teacher's summer. So I do really appreciate all your work, Heather. I know 3 districts is a lot to be taking on, and I think that, you know, one of our jobs is to figure out, you know, where in our operational budget is there a need, and I think that Heather is very overworked with she and her team, so that might be an area that we're looking at in our future operational budget is some help.
Okay, down to communications. We did the financial summit. Should we go back, or can we move on from that one?
We can move on.
All right.
Questions?
We
could watch the recording.
Cue it up, people.
MASC, MASS joint conference.
So that is in your packet. I believe if you are interested in attending, reach out to Cheryl to do all the registration.
I can't remember, did we already talk to Cheryl? I can't even remember.
And can someone just refresh my memory? It's during the week, but is there also a Saturday day?
No, it's, hold on, they changed it. They changed it.
Oh, did they? Because yesterday we were, yesterday.
Is this year?
Yes.
Yeah,
2025, right?
so it's
Yeah.
Wednesday, Friday now?
It's Wednesday, and then I believe Saturday morning, if anything, it's literally like,
It's really Wednesday, Thursday.
Friday. It ends Friday night, really. And Saturday morning is.
The dinner's Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You attend a day.
We could just
So I
attend
think-
the dinner.
And you can just come
Yeah.
for the dinner.
Okay.
I honestly think that's probably well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although right before the dinner is the delegate thing, I think.
So I did see that.
Right.
I have things all day long at work I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out of, so somebody else
I
might
took
wanna
it off.
take
I
that.
can do it.
Okay, great.
I can do
Yeah, I
it.
looked at my work schedule and I was like, I don't think I have subs for any of that.
On Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be just driving from Weston, like, for the dinner, so.
So do we, at this meeting, should we nominate our delegate to go?
We can do that in October.
October.
Yeah.
But you said you would be.
I can go. Yep.
Okay. Apple Fest. We are, just talked about a parade, which is fun, and marching, which is fun. We've got the gala, which is always a good time. And it's a fun weekend. It's like my favorite weekend.
And Greg, you have the banner, right?
I have the banner.
And do we get the students to hold the banner?
We
Oh
usually
man,
get-
that'd be awesome. Last time it was us.
Yeah, that would be great to have some
McKnight-
students.
Yeah, McKnight.
I'll bring my daughters.
Yeah, we can do some recruiting, some
Okay.
students.
Ayla will do it for 5, so we get super excited about it, and then she'll just drop it and walk away. Okay, action on minutes. Action on the open meeting minutes of June 4th, 2025. There's any thoughts there? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
So moved to approve the open meeting minutes of June the 4th, 2025.
Second?
Moved by Joan, second by Lauren. Discussion, vote. Approved, unanimous. Action on the retained executive session minutes of December 18th, 2023. Vote to release.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Joan, second by Kristen.
All in
Vote?
favor?
All in favor? Approved? Okay. Future agenda items, FY '27 budget presentation. Rebecca?
That'll be the
Outdoor
next
learning
meeting, right?
space discussion. Anything else? Is that budget presentation going to be of, yeah, can you talk a little bit more about what's in the presentation of that?
So that will be in most likely November.
Okay.
And then if there are presentations or topics that committee members are interested in, let Bryce know and we can add to this list. Pretty boring list right now.
So far, that's why I paused. I was like, wait a second, there's got to be more coming.
And I'll also add the presentation cycle, so I'll add.
For the principals, great, okay. Outdoor learning space discussion, well, we had a conversation this summer just about kind of starting to expand that into some more kind of understanding of what that means, where it could be, what it looks like, which is, I think, is really exciting. Any other future agenda items from committee members?
I think one we just said would be vote on the delegate to the
Yep.
MASC.
Vote on the delegate to MASC.
And then on this one, it said technology. Would we
Yeah,
have a
so
technology
actually,
report?
Technology will be presenting at the combined meeting on the 17th.
October 17th?
September.
The September meeting.
Okay. So will there be any curriculum on October here, K-8, or no?
We'll probably have several grants, including PRISM, that
Yeah, bring those grants in.
Update and grants.
there's
Okay.
there's some
We'll
approvals
get
coming.
together and add some items, yeah, 'cause otherwise it's pretty slow. Isn't necessarily the worst thing. but, okay.
Funny.
Yeah. Approval of bills and payrolls, none at this time. Open to audience sharing. Seeing none.
I just have one.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Joan.
I would just like to thank.
State your name and address, please.
Okay, Jeff Franklin.
Thanks, Kelly.
Cell phone number? No. I would just like to thank the administration team. You always make us look really, really good, and everything is running so smoothly from what you do continually. I don't think you get a stop. Lauren, a break. Lauren was talking about how teachers get a break. I don't think you guys get a break. Becky, I'm always amazed by all your budget for everything that you do. Stephanie, you know the curriculum, and Keith, all the hats that you wear, even when I'm remote and you get me all in tune and I can't hear you, that type of thing, or I can't see you. But I am just so pleased. I think that it's a lean team. We've had studies that have been done and said we have lean. We've gotten a little bit better, but you guys are doing a phenomenal job. And of course, Greg knows how I feel, and I think all the three committees feel. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And also with Heather. I mean, you've had a busy time, but these people that you bring in, we don't have any gaps. Some schools are starting with gaps that they need. They need bus drivers. I remember the report that you gave, said we even had the substitutes, which is great. We're ready to go. Our safety report is wonderful. We're not making the news that a bus is being pulled off for some reason. So I'd like to thank all of you because you make our job a little bit easier and you make us very proud of what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan of Northborough.
Of Northborough? Yeah.
Thank you, Joan of Northborough. Okay, are we moving into executive session? Okay. I'll take a motion to, do you want me to close this?
Motion to adjourn.
Session, motion to adjourn at 8:38 PM.
So there's a sample motion.
Yes,
I can read it if you want.
So we don't close this meeting before we move in?
It's your.
No, you
Okay.
move into.
Okay.
Do you want me
Go
to read
ahead,
it?
please,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll move to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy with respect to collective bargaining with Northborough Teachers Association, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and not to reconvene in open session.
Second.
Motion by Lawrence, second by Joan. All in favor?
And it's a roll call,
Oh,
right?
roll call?
Hey, what, like 6-7 years in, I finally got it?
That's why we need each other. It's
Okay.
collaborative.
That's awesome. Kristen?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
I'm a yes. That's unanimous. Move into executive session at 8:39 PM.
Wait, who's the secretary? I don't have to take minutes, right?
Being followed. Union workers wonder why Trump halted their Revolution Wind project. Amid controversy in Rhode Island, green efforts are in limbo. By Trevor